Are we still here in Finland living post-Nokia era?
In some ways we are, but of course there are many different angles on that. Maybe most of the people take that statement as a negative, meaning that of course there's a lot of trauma and sort of issues that came after Nokia fell. But from the, let's say, innovation point of view and startup scene point of view, it's been also positive, because it released a lot of very talented resources to be used in other companies and activities as well. And we've got quite a few people starting their own companies after their Nokia career.
How can startups and growth-ups help Finnish manufacturing industry, traditional industry?
It's a very tough question, because traditionally here in Finland the big companies are not used to work with the small companies, and it's been very sort of challenging to get the corporate people to understand the different let's say challenges the startups face when they are working with big companies. So of course the startups are very fast and they can do many things very quickly, but the issues normally come when you should be starting to scale the business or go into like a high volume production. But definitely there are good examples already where the startup companies are working together with big companies, and what we've been seeing is that probably the best examples are when the startup is working with the R&D unit of the big company and sort of contribute as maybe part of the project or product development team.
Tell us a little bit about Slush and the results from that.
Of course, first of all, Slush is this, I think it is now the Europe's biggest investor startup event. And the roots of that event actually go back 4 or 5 years ago when in Aalto University students, Aalto Entrepreneurship Society, started an activity called Startup Sauna, which is an accelerator for basically any kind of a startup. And the first, maybe what you would call Slush events, were the demo days of the Startup Sauna, where the teams that had been in the boot camp were presenting their own let's say, business cases. And it just grew and grew, and last year it was already 14,000 people in the exhibition center in Helsinki. And it's very unique because it's all student organized. And so we have currently 12 students working already full time for next year or this year's Slush event. And during the days in November, we have about 600 to 700 volunteers running the show there on the floor. So it's been very, very exciting, and it's good to see that we actually attract now worldwide interest on the investor side and also on the startup side to come here. And of course there are companies there from abroad, but at the same time also our own startup companies out of Finland get a lot of exposure and also possibilities to find funding there.
Slush is about digitalization and software and these kind of things. Has the traditional manufacturing industry found Slush, for example?
I think it's a little bit of a misconception that it's only about digitalization and sort of ICT technologies, because there are many different tracks there, and definitely the ICT side is strong, but there are also teams and tracks there for other technology areas. But it is true that the manufacturing industry may not have really found yet the venue in the way they could. And hopefully that is something that we can do better in the future.
Universities and industry, what are the main challenges to get more cooperation between those?
The biggest challenge, of course, for the university is that we do get a lot of inventions coming out of our research teams and research groups. But they are only inventions, so they are not innovations, meaning that there would be a business rationale or business case behind it. And what we are challenging with is to really find the companies or entrepreneurs who would be interested and willing to take over the sometimes quite raw invention and start looking into that and turn that into some business case and maybe a startup company or some other kind of business.